Hi everyone, I'm Scott and welcome to another episode of The Unlikely Beak. It's finally almost spring. So it's the middle of March, just before the official first day of spring. And we have a kind of pretty day today. It's about 69 or 70 degrees and very windy, so I apologize if there's any wind on the sound. And it's really going to be our very first day that we can get into the colonies and really see what's going on in there. I was here in early February and slipped a pollen patty in there and got kind of just a cursory peek at what was going on in there. They looked fairly decent in size. Of course, I had no idea whether or not they were low on stores, and I'm really going to find that out today. What I did in the fall was put some mountain camp sugar, which is just dry sugar, on top of the colony. And there was 2 colonies that actually came up and ate a significant amount of that sugar. And then I came back in early March and was able to slip a fondant patty in on our colonies. So that gave them a little bit more food. The fondant is definitely easier for them to eat and to digest than the dry sugar. So we're going to be able to see how much of that they've eaten. I wouldn't be surprised if they've eaten it all, because it's been nearly a month or so, or half a month or so, since I put that in there. So we'll see. They tend to eat those pretty fast. For those of you that are wondering how many of our bees survived the winter, we went into the fall with 6 colonies and we lost 2. So we have 4 colonies left, and those colonies, based on what I've been observing the few times that I've been here to the yard, are doing quite well. I'm going to spin the camera around here so then and pan across the entrances here so that you can see all the coming and going. And you might even notice some of the bees have pollen there on their back legs. So they're definitely bringing in a bunch of pollen. But they seem to be doing quite well. So I'm pretty excited and happy about that. Definitely didn't want to lose any more colonies than we did. I think 2 is probably an acceptable number. Okay, a lot of talking here, a lot of intro to this video. So what I'm going to do here is get all set up down there. I'm just going to just take a kind of a quick peek in there. I'm not going to dig too deep into it. So I'll get set up down there and I'll be right back. All right, so let's crack into this box and see what's going on. I'm actually really a little bit excited to get in here and see what's going on. So as you can see here, we're still set up for winter. So this is the quilt board here. And they've eaten a significant amount of that sugar. If you remember, this sugar was, that entire space was covered in sugar all the way up to the vent, or all the way up to the screening. So this is a pollen patty here that I put on. So it looks like they're all over it, which is, okay. So, and this is the fondant. They have eaten almost all of it, which again is not surprising at all, because for some reason bees really like this stuff. I 3D printed these with one of my 3D printers. So all it does is hold the bag up and open so that it doesn't collapse, so that the bees can kind of get up in there and eat. Capped brood. Very, very nice. So very happy about that. Very nice. And of course, all these cells that are up above that have eggs in them and some actual larvae. And there's some larvae down in here as well. So I don't know if you can see that. The camera will pick that up, but there's some larvae down in there. So very nice. Very happy to see that. And lots of bees in here. So I think we will definitely be splitting this colony here before long. So I'm just gonna put the camera down and kind of rip through all of the rest of these boxes real quick, just to kind of make sure everything is okay. And then I'll come back and talk a little bit about what I saw and what we're gonna be doing here in 2025. Definitely some of my plans were not going to be feasible just driving in my extremely fuel efficient vehicle down here to take care of the bees. So I bought a Ford F-150. So now I'm driving a truck. So I really like this truck. It's my first truck. I've never owned a truck before, so I'm really excited. It's definitely a different experience. And you can imagine, for a little short guy like me, it's pretty awesome sitting up as high as you do when you drive a truck. So anyway, but I still have to turn backwards and pull myself up onto the tailgate to get into the bed because I'm a short little guy. But anyway, so enough about that. I'm gonna put the camera down, rip through these colonies, and I'll be right back. Oh man, let me tell you, it was so great to get back into those colonies, even though I just like removed maybe a frame or two, but it means that it's time to beekeep again, and I love beekeeping so much. So let's talk about what's going on in the colonies. Again, I apologize for the wind. Nothing I can do about it. Hopefully the next time it won't be so windy. So as you can see, we're still getting some disorientation here with some of the foragers that are returning. They will figure that out here in a couple of weeks. So for right now, Hive 2, probably the largest of the populations on all of the 4 surviving colonies. Really big population, lots and lots of brood. I didn't see a whole lot of resources other than a ton of pollen, but you would expect that at this point because they're brooding up and that bird need pollen. Hive 3 here, also doing really well, and I found some drone brood in there as well. Now, I did not see any drone brood on the 1 or 2 frames that I pulled out of Hive 2 here, but that doesn't mean that there isn't drone brood in there. Of course, they're going to produce some drones at this time of the year. This colony definitely is a little low on the population. Not terrible. And they also had quite a bit of fondant left. And to my absolute surprise, they had 2 full frames of honey that were still capped. So not worried about resources in there at all. I'm sure they will bounce back beautifully in the next week or 2. And then, of course, there is our last colony here. This is our surviving nuke from last year. And the grumpy bees, and if you can see all of these bees flying around me here, I have no doubt which colony they are from. So in any event, these bees, again, not huge population, but not terrible either. I did not see any honey in there at all, and they had basically eaten all of their fondant and some of their sugar, but they definitely still have some sugar in here. So again, not terribly worried about them. So the rest of what's going to be happening this year is I have submitted an application to the Pennsylvania Department of Agriculture to receive a limited food establishment license, which is what is required in Pennsylvania to sell honey away from the farm or away from the location in which it is produced. So I expect that application to be approved, and then an inspector will visit my house just to kind of look over the kitchen and just, over the, the area in which I plan on extracting and bottling honey, and issue my license to me then. So then I will be setting up at farmers markets and fairs and anything else, any other place that I can set up, and I'll be selling our honey. So I'm really excited, really looking forward to that. It's going to be an opportunity to kind of grow and expand not only the awareness of honey and how amazing it is for our health and just our general, everyday dietary needs, but it will also provide an opportunity for me to meet people and talk to people, because I love to talk. So it will be another, another venue in which I can meet people and engage and share this absolutely fantastic passion of mine, and so many others, which is beekeeping, and helping to save the pollinators. So yeah, so that's really more or less that's what's going to be happening. So it's another reason why I purchased the truck, because I'm going to have to move a lot of stuff around. So in any event, I think that's going to do it for this episode. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.